Looking for the best aftermarket parts and accessories for your model? Look no further than MCV Products. Bring your models to life at mcvproducts.com. Hey everyone, welcome back to Matt's Models and More. It's good to see you. I apologize for missing last week's video, and I apologize for my voice right now. I'm actually losing it. Some crazy stuff happened last week, but I apologize for missing. Today's we're going to continue on with our how-to series, and this one's going to be about bare metal foil. A lot of y'all have emailed me, texted me, and messaged me on Facebook that you would like to learn how to do bare metal foil. So I am going to show you how to do that the way I do it. It's not probably the perfect way, but to me, I'm always about trying to find the easiest way to doing it. So a couple things. You could do bare metal foil in a couple different colors. I have tried the black, and I will say don't attempt. It'd be better to paint your car a gloss black than it would be to try to, or I'm sorry, the moldings gloss black, than try to do that, because it just doesn't stick. And I've heard that there are some bare metal foils out there that are not good. I know there's some other companies, like I think it's Husqvarna, whatever it's called. They've got some. I think AK, one of the military brands, has some as well. But I've always had good luck with this brand. And I've heard that there's some bad batches out there. And I think if you buy the newest batches that are available, you're probably okay. And you can see on this sheet how much I've used, and we're going to continue on with that. Couple things you're going to want. First of all, a good number 11 blade, and make sure you put a brand new one in there. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, I've got my brand new number 11 blade. Going to make sure it's nice and clean. Don't attempt to use, I wouldn't suggest trying to use an old blade, because this is metal. It's just super thin metal with an adhesive on the back. And if you try to use an old blade, and if there's a little nip on your blade, it will actually kind of rip it rather than cut it. So you definitely want a fresh blade, your bare metal foil, and you're going to also want some these to burnish the actual metal foil around the trim, and then also some sharp ones to make sure you get down in that groove, which I'm going to show you. And you're also going to want a ruler, and what this is good for is, one, when you're using this to measure out, let's say we're going to do this piece right here, at least gives you an idea how much to cut, and then you can cut a straight line on your actual foil. So before we start, I want you to know, though, that not all, I see some videos showing people how to do one full piece around the bare metal foil, which is great, and it does look good, but it's not realistic. If you look at these pictures I'm about to show you, not all cars have one full piece of molding going all the way around. If you look at the front glass and the rear glass, even quarter glass, they have overlapping chrome, and that's for a reason. And it makes it easier to put on, of course, and easier to replace if one was to get bent or broken. They're held in by clips, so they're easier to produce that way as well. But that's why they do that. So hopefully you can see in those pictures that it's okay to have overlapping metal foil. But here's the important thing. If you've noticed in those pictures, and I'll pop one back up again, they always overlap going down. So meaning that if it was raining, the overlap is going to be at the top, so water is not going directly into where the overlap line would be, whether it's at the bottom or at the top, or even on the back if it's, right here or right there. So one of the steps in doing bare metal foil is always starting from the bottom and work your way up. That way the overlap is going down. if you understand what I mean, which I'll show you when we start doing it. So I just wanted you to see that and know that some people, in my opinion, they're scared to death of doing bare metal foil. They say it's dreadful, and I want to encourage you that it's really not. It's really not. I usually will put on some good tunes, and we'll just listen or a podcast, and I will just go to town. And I'm going to show you the easy way of doing it, and hopefully you'll like it and not be intimidated of doing it. Now, I don't have a painted body to do one. I've got 4 bodies right now that are ready for paint, but because I've been sick, I haven't been able to paint anything. So I can't show you how it would be on paint, but pretend like this is a freshly painted car. Now, the other thing I recommend, bare metal foil should be done right before you do the clear coat. Clearing it over the bare metal foil will lock it in and make sure that it won't come off, because when you wrap it around, sometimes these places in here that's got overspray from paint or whatever may come loose. And then, usually when you pick up a car, you're usually always picking it up right there, and which you shouldn't. You probably should pick it up like that, but then you're taking chances with other stuff. But so if you've got it cleared, it's going to lock it in. Now, clearing does diminish the chrome appearance ever so slightly. To me, it's not noticeable, and I would rather have it slightly dulled. And it's not dull, please don't take that the wrong way, but I'd rather have it slightly less shiny and have it durable, and it will never come off again. So I would say definitely clear it. So what I would do is, paint this whole car, wet sand it for that last wet sand before you're going to put the clear on. Go ahead and do your bare metal foil while it's in that wet sanded stage, then clear over everything, and you should lock it in. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to do, let's pick and see, this one's going to be interesting because we have some inner trim that will actually be the inside of that. And we've got, of course, outer trim. We're going to start with this piece right here, the roof rail that runs down to the quarter. So as I was saying, we're going to measure. And what I do is I usually go over a little bit. And let's come down. We're going to need, let's just say, 7 centimeters should be good. And then as far as height, you really don't have to do the height, because then you're wasting so much of that material. I'm going to shape it. So I know if I'm doing 7 centimeters, I'm going to want to bend it at around 6. So I'll show you what I do here. So we're going to let's start right here. I will zoom in the camera if needed. So we'll need to go up a little bit higher. So we're going to have to start up top. My apologies. Let's start up here. That way I can see right where I need to. You can see most of my cuts are about the same. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, but they're usually all around the same. So with a nice fresh blade, oops, look how that ran on me. It won't matter though. We're going to stop at 6. And then see the angle of that. We're going to run that down probably about right there. That should be enough. And this is guesswork, really. And then you really don't have to use your the ruler to get that cut. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention is you do want some good tweezers to use, because this will pill up, and then you can grab it. And you're going to mess it up and wrinkle it. The great thing about this stuff is it's pretty resilient, and it will flatten out. Oops. So don't let that intimidate you when stuff like that happens, because you can actually fix that, and I'll show you. So untwist that. This stuff is pretty sticky. That's what I like about it. Now I like to make, if you noticed, I made it look a little bit bigger I made the cut a little bit bigger. And I'm putting that right in the middle of the molding because you want some on each end. All right, so I got a little bit going under. I got a lot going over. I didn't want to use that much, but I did. So usually the first thing I do is I'm going to burnish with the Q-tip. Burnish it down right on the line of the molding. Like I said, I'll zoom this in so you can see it. And remember, it's okay if you overlap right there because I'm going to make my cut right there and then do another piece right here. So again, this stuff's pretty resilient, and if you get the good batch, it sticks really well. So now that I've got the top piece burnished, I'm going on the side, the right side of the molding, and you can see where that line is starting to appear. This darn camera is right in my way. All right, and then I'm going to go on the inside, start burnishing that down because the metal will bend with the actual molding. And then I'm going to make some relief cuts. So to me, this is way easier than trying to use like a Molotov pen or to tape everything up and try to paint it, because that would be tough. That would be really tough. So don't worry about all this excess stuff on the side. Your focus should be on the molding itself, where it's going to roll over into the next piece. And we're going to burnish that inside as well. And see how much I used on the inside. Just enough to adhere to something, but not too much that I'm wasting it. And you want to burnish it down really good. What's funny about burnishing with these Q-tips is it seems to get a lot shinier the more you burnish it. It's almost like you're polishing this metal, which is really cool. Then we'll turn it inside out, and we're going to do the same thing because you can see where it overlaps down there. And I just want to make sure we have good adhesion. Now I'm going to be taking all this off because I still got to work on this car. By the way, this is a 62 Catalina, and I absolutely love. If y'all have been following me, you know what kind of cars I like. The long, low, square body cars. And I just absolutely love this body style. I can't wait to do this. I should have done this kit already, but I kept just changing my mind at the last second. So now we're burnishing the inside. Looks good. All right, so now we're going to start doing our cuts. Now here's where having a really sharp blade comes in handy. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Take one of your sharper ones and go in these lines. See how that's appearing so much better now. Hopefully you can see that when you're zooming in. The reason why you want to do that is it does give you a better line to follow when you put the razor blade on it. Let me just tear that off because that's coming off anyway, which I don't need it right there. And go ahead and take it and get in those little areas. I urge you, I know I have a lot of beginners watching, and that's why I started this series. Or not even just beginners, but people coming back to the hobby that never knew about bare metal foil. I know when I was doing it back in the early 80s, I had no clue about this stuff. I don't even think it was around. Pretty sure it wasn't. But so all the folks that are coming back to this hobby are amazed on what we can do and the stuff that's available. And let me tell you, this stuff right here is a game changer. It really brings your model to life. Kind of like MCV products. Shameless plug. Bring your models to life. And that's what it does. All right, so now we're going to start cutting, and this is where you got to be extra careful because your blade can run. I'm going to put my other glasses on. Bear with me. I had to put my trifocals on so I can see this. So where I'm going to start is right on this line. And I'm going to just, and I'm not pushing down hard. I just want it to follow, man, sorry about that. I just want it to follow this line. I don't know why it's jumping out there. What if this blade is bent? I know it sounds like I'm pushing hard, but I'm really not. It's just because it's cutting into the metal. I'm putting just ever so light pressure on it just so it doesn't jump. Let's go back. I did get offline up here. And I think actually that might be okay. Let's pull it and see what happens. Make sure. Now, here's something I need to let you know about. So when you're pulling the remainder off, make sure all your relief cuts are done. So I know I got a line going around here all the way to the edge. I'm going to stop it right there. And I just want to cut it. That way when I pull this off, it's only pulling off what I need and not anything else. And I'm going to start slow. I usually start with my tweezers. And I will, yeah, see that piece come off good. And reminder, this is how I do it. Doesn't mean it's the right way. So now you just start peeling off where you cut. And I'm probably going to have some lines up here that jumped. We'll see. I thought I straightened it out. And it looks like I did. So, all right, we are good. So now that I cut it, we're going to burnish it again with the regular Q-tip just to get everything to lay down and go in the opposite direction. So if you stopped right here, go down. Don't go up because you'll end up peeling it. So you just want to burnish it down. And let's use the sharp one too, just to get that stuff laid down real nice and tight. And then we're going to burnish the rest as soon as I get that off. Man, I hope I didn't just have all that off camera. I'm telling you what, being sick, I don't do well being sick, guys. If you don't, if you know how women say men get the man flu, they're not joking, because I do. I turn into a big old baby when I'm sick, I ain't gonna lie. Just like this up here, go with the cut. Don't go against it because you will peel. So this is just one piece, and so you can see how well that turned out. Nice, clean, nice and shiny, and looks like real chrome. And that is so much easier. If you noticed, that was so much easier than taping off everything and then painting it. And here's why I recommend not to paint the car, tape everything up, and then paint the chrome molding. Biggest reason. One, all the good chrome paints out there seem to never ever cure 100%. So if you're picking up or moving it around, all you're doing is putting fingerprints in that chrome and dulling it down with the oils in your fingers. Excuse me. So that's why I recommend using the bare metal foil always. Always. That's probably the number one reason, honestly. All right, so now let's say we needed to overlap one. So let's continue with this. And what I'm going to do, well, you know what? Let's do the back because I want to represent one of those pictures where it overlaps. And what would happen is we start from the bottom and we'll stop about right there. So we'll do a little L shape, one long piece, and then stop. And then we'll do a second piece that's just straight on each side. And then we'll do a third piece that overlaps that goes this way. And you're gonna end up with two overlap lines. But like I showed you in those pictures, that's actually realistic. So to me, doing this all in one piece, yes, it's fancy and it shows your skill, and it's easy to do because you can literally cut out a giant piece of this and just put it over there, burnish it, and then cut relief parts in there. So it's really not hard. So when you see somebody doing all in one piece, don't think that that was special, because it's really not that much. To me, doing it in the separate pieces like it would be done from the factory is a bit of a more skill than doing it all in one piece. So let's start that. All right, sorry for the pause. I actually had to go wet my whistle because I'm starting to lose my voice. All right, so something I noticed on this trim is there's barely a lip there. You can see it, but you can barely feel it. Now, the bare, I can grab it with the clip of my nail ever so slightly. The great thing about the bare metal foil is it does get in those corners very easily, but this is a good time to probably go ahead and do some scoring, but I'm not going to do it on this yet. Only, like I said, I've got I still have to work on this model, so I don't want to do that yet. So we're going to attempt this without scoring those lines even deeper. So let's go back to our trusty ruler here. We're going to do this bottom piece first. We're going to overlap just a little bit. I'm going to cut, and you can see what I'm meaning here. The window starts right there. I'm going just ever so slightly over, about a ½ centimeter, and the same on this side. So I'm going to cut, we could probably do 6. 6 would probably be okay. So let's go ahead and cut, and this is going to have to be ever so slightly higher. So again, we're going to go a little bit higher. We're going to go over here, and I'm going to make it a little bit taller because I know I've got to go up on both sides of that window. So don't worry about stuff like this. It will actually burnish out when you see those little cuts. I'm going to go to 6. Went over just a little bit to be on the safe side. This does not have to be perfectly straight, so we're going to just cut that. And let's get this started. Get the old curly Q, the famous curly Q. What you want to do is just move that out a little bit. Now I'm going to aim this thing a little bit higher. Let me put this up because I feel like I keep getting y'all off camera. I'm just going to go ahead and use my fingers on that. Also, do make sure your hands are perfectly clean, free from grease, because it will, see, I couldn't see it with my other fat finger in the way, because it will lose adhesion from oil on your fingers. All right, so that's good there. Yeah, that's good. All right, so see where that wrinkle was? That was what was actually on the paper. But when we start burnishing, I usually start in the middle and kind of just move my way out. And look how clean that is already, guys. Not wild. This stuff is amazing. As you know, a lot of people have, which I've said earlier, didn't even know it was available, or they were intimidated to use it. But this stuff is so great, especially when you get the good batch of it, which I was fortunate. It's about 11 bucks is what I paid for this stuff, and I did get it on Amazon. I will put a link in there on the description, so you can just go simply click on it. Now the tough part on this one is going to be, like I said, because the line is so thin, I'm going to make a relief cut right here, because this is going up right here, and I want this to continue on the inside of the molding, and you can see how thick it is. My relief cut is going to come out just a little bit. And then see how easy that was to cut through? And see, this one, unfortunately, already, I didn't give it enough room. But now that I made those cuts, I can literally just fold those down. And then this one, I can go ahead and fold that around as well. And that's our up piece that's going to be overlapped by the middle piece. So the tricky part about this one is going to be cutting this down here because it is so thin. The molding line is just so thin. All right, so that was the big Q-tip. Now I'm going to use my sharp one to get in that groove real well, and I do need to switch my glasses again. All right, got my goggles on so I can actually see what I'm doing here. And I recommend burnishing it pretty good, especially when the lines are real thin like this. Because again, you're giving your razor blade something to follow. If you watch my last video about panel lines, you'll see exactly what I mean about following. That knife is so tiny and sharp, it will follow anything that is remotely considered a line or a mold line, or just trust me, anything. So I'm continuing to burnish right where I know this piece is going to be overlapped. And this piece is really thin, so it's going to overlap ever so slightly right there. But I just want to burnish everything so it's nice and smooth. And make sure on that bottom line, nice and tight. And then same thing with this side. So small. And not all your model cars are going to be this way. You're going to get some that's actually pretty easy. I tell you what, I'm working on a 56 Chrysler 300 right now from Mobius. Best lines you'll ever see in your life. What's funny about that build though is I'm not putting bare metal foil on it. I'm actually going to paint the trim gloss black. So the exact opposite of this. You've got these little knots in here for where the glass is going to go in. You just kind of work around that. Glass, the glue that you use for glass will still stick to that, so it's okay. And you can, if you're feeling a little edgy, or if you're, let's say the batch you've got is not sticking real good right there, you can always put a little bit of matte or gloss Mod Podge and just brush it on ever so slightly right there, or even canopy glue. So I use either that or this. Now this is gloss, and the reason why I use the gloss, I use it mainly for glass. This for glass as well, honestly, either one. But there's a trick. So if you've got some of these sticking up and you're afraid might peel off, you can always put a little bit of Mod Podge or canopy glue on there to hold it down. So let's go on the inside of that now to get this line nice and burnished. The piece tore right there, but we're going to cover that with the next piece, so you'll be all right. I said don't panic with any of this. See how it's thin there and thin there? You won't even see that when you do the other piece, and when you put the glass in, you won't even see that. All right, so you can see how crisp those lines are, and it's all burnished down now and ready to cut. So we're going to get our fresh plate again. We'll make sure it's free from any debris or any other metal stripping that we were doing. Now we're going to start the cutting. Cut this little piece first. Get it out the way. I recommend always pulling too. Don't push. Oops. When it jumped like that, it will leave a line, but it will burnish right back down. So don't freak out. See, I just did it again because this line's so thin. But I'm not worried about it because I can burnish that down. And I'm going to end up clear coating it anyway. See, it still keeps jumping because there's nothing there to grab onto. And I'm pumped full of medication. So I can't half see, can't half do anything right now. So, all right. So we're going to pull this piece now, roll it up a little bit to get it started. You see everywhere that I jumped, see that piece is starting to come off? Don't panic, just put it back down with your sharp toothpick because we can recut it. I want you to see mistakes and all. I don't want you to be worried about this. There is not a builder out there that has not made mistakes. Trust me. Because that was tearing this way, I'm going to make my cut this way to release that. That should be good now. We will see. Really, really small. It's wild. All right, so I know I jumped my line right there because I can see it. So I don't want to pull from that side again. I'm actually going to start from over here. And see what it did. It left. So I got two that pulled. Those are where my lines jumped. And that happened live. I wasn't trying to hide anything because I want you to see it. Now this one is actually okay. So I'm going to pull this out because that was just a hang, basically like a hangnail. And that one too. Okay. So we're good. All right. So now I'm going to take now because I know they were cut this way, go this way when you're burnishing it back down. Because if you go that way, the cotton's going to want to grab the adhesive. And you don't want that to happen. Of course, right? All right, so because we knew we cut underneath here, also get underneath there as well. Continue to burnish. All right. So now we got that done. So now we're going to jump up to these two pieces. We're going to have two small pieces because just like I showed you in that picture, it's okay. It seems like on camera I can see those lines a little bit better. So I'm probably going to have to go back and burnish those down. I won't do that right now as I do it. But that's something I would do. But don't let that freak you out because you can burnish that down even better. Yeah, and you can see it good right there. So I don't want that to happen. So now we're going to do the two small cuts. So let's go ahead and bring this back out. We're not going to need very much. Let's see, I would say probably we do want it to overlap. Let's say if you do just 2 centimeters on both sides, you're going to be good. And we probably got enough up here. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and cut those. Actually, let's go ahead and use these pieces. No. Sorry. Now, I'm going to make this one a little bit wider because the inside of these molds, well, actually, no, they're not. I'm sorry. They don't have to be real wide on that one. I don't know what I was seeing there. About 2 centimeters. We'll go ahead and cut a second one. So we got 2. 1 for each side. And then we're just going to cut a relief straight up. Those were horrible, but it will still work. That's the great thing about modeling. Don't let it stress you out. It's supposed to be fun. There's number 1. Go ahead and lay it down. Now, I know this top piece is nice and straight, so I want to use that to be my overlap, to create this realistic overlap look. Sometimes this can be a little tough. There we go. And burnish it down with my finger. So it overlaps right there. And normally I'd probably go a little bit higher than that, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to leave it right there because I'm really just wanting y'all to see, don't be intimidated by bare metal foil. And then this will be the last piece. And after I get these down, I will stop right there. Again, this edge piece I know is straight. I want that to be my overlap line for the molding. And I didn't do it enough when I cut that first piece at the bottom, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Okay, let's burnish those. Now, you saw where I started burnishing. I started right above the overlap line because now I want to come down. I want that overlap to be good. So I started kind of in the middle and pushed out. And then I'm going to come down to make sure to overlap. And let me get another one of my sharp pointed Q-tips. And we're going to go down inside the groove. Yeah, that was good. That one was good. And I'll just slowly work around on that inside because it's going to fold. It almost makes the relief cut itself on those corners, just by the way this one's shaped. Now let's turn it on the inside. Now what I'll normally do, especially if I'm really showing off the interior of a vehicle, I will come back and trim all this stuff up straight so you can't see none of it, and you do the same thing you would on the outside as you would on the inside, just to make that look nice and clean. So that's something else that can be done as well. I know some of y'all are looking at the inside of that and like, oh, that's going to be seen. And it could, yeah, it really could, depending on what you're going to do. Some people make headliners and all that stuff, so a lot of times you can't even see the interior of these cars, especially at the shows. I go and try to see them and can't. All right, so that piece is done, but before I cut, I'm going to go ahead and finish this one. Burnish it down. I started right before, and now I'm going to go down so I'm not pulling that overlap up. All right, now we're going to start folding that in like we did the other side. This one got a little bit of a wrinkle there. It should burnish out if I get it enough. Check your blade. Swap glasses again so I can see. What I'm using is my homemade goggles. I made a video about those, and these are the times 200, and I've got a times 300 as well that I made, but these are perfect for this. All right, so now this is such a small molding. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm not cutting this because that would continue on right there, but I am going to cut right here and move my way up ever so slowly. Just let your blade follow that line. This stuff is really thin, and then just barely get it pulled. Grab your tweezers. Wow, see how thin that stuff was? Let's grab it again. This is one of the thinnest lines I think I've ever done on bare metal foil. But I did it. You did it. Pull that piece off because that's going to be an overlap line. Now that I pulled that off, again, go back with the overlap is down there. So we want to go down. Get my sharp one, get inside that line so it conforms to the edge. Oh, look at that. Look at that happy little chrome. Happy little chrome on the happy little molding on this happy little model. All right, so there you go. I think you get the idea. There's no need for me to do this one for you. You get the idea if you pay attention to the previous pictures I showed you with overlapping. Don't let that be scared. Don't let this stuff scare you at all. It's actually really easy and fun to do. It's actually really fun to do. It's basically like wrapping a present, but it's adhesive. It's basically taping something up and then burnishing it out smooth and then cutting it out. So, guys, I say happy modeling. Do that. I mean, I can see I made a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo. I would probably, if this was going to be a show car, that piece would be pulled off and redone. And that's the cool thing. This stuff lasts forever. I've been using this stuff for over a year, and look how much I have left because you use so little. The key is to remember, if you're using, I'll use these tweezers as a good line. So if your molding is this size, about that size is what you want to cut out to give yourself enough room on this side to cut and enough room on this side to wrap it under. So remember, always keep, and the tweezers is actually a good measuring point. So whatever your molding size is, use the tweezers as your guide. That's how big of a piece you want to cut all the way around. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you watching. If y'all have any more questions, or if you have other ways that you do it, or maybe some other product that y'all use, put it in the comments and let me know what you're using and if you're doing anything different to get better results. But this is how I do it, and I enjoy doing it. It just depends on what type of model I'm doing. For instance, like I was saying, my 56 here is not gonna have, matter of fact, I'll impose a picture right here. As you can see, the moldings are gloss black, bumpers gloss black. It's going to be olive drab, matte finish, no clear. And I'm going for kind of a old school, let's say a commander retired from the military and he got his hot rod and he still just had to keep that military look. So those are the times when you want to paint your moldings if you're doing black or something like that. But I don't recommend painting them if you're going to be handling them because that chrome does not seem to want to cure up. So there you go. Guys, appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for the thoughts and prayers and texts I was getting about missing last week. I will catch up. We've got a lot of stuff to do on this how-to series. So, and I'm also going to be taking a trip to Lowe's here pretty soon. We're going to be taking some other trips and show you some of the things that you can do from Lowe's, just like what we were doing from Harbor Freight. So, love you guys. Appreciate it. And until the next time, keep on rolling.